Good evening, my name is Joseph Sipitz. I'm here for SJCPL and it's time for a special Saturday night story. And in fact, I will be reading 3 excerpts from the book True Grit, which is our One Book, One Michiana. And also we'll have a recipe of something that you can enjoy while you read. People do not give it credence that a 14-year-old girl could leave home and go off in the wintertime to avenge her father's blood, but it did not seem strange then, although I would say that it does not happen every day. I was just 14 years of age when a coward going by the name of Tom Cheney shot my father down in Fort Smith, Arkansas, and robbed him of his life and his horse and $150 in cash money, plus 2 California gold pieces that he carried in his trouser band. When Lucky Ned Pepper and I gained the rock ledge, Cheney jumped up and made for me. "I will wring your scrawny neck," he exclaimed. Lucky Ned Pepper pushed him aside and said, "No, I won't have it. Let that doctoring go and get the horses saddled. Lend him a hand, Farrell." He pushed me down by the fire and said, "Sit there and be still." When he had caught his breath, he took a spyglass from his coat and searched the rocky dome to the west. He saw nothing and took a seat by the fire and drank coffee from a can and ate some bacon from his skillet with his hands. There was plenty of meat and several cans of water by the fire, some with plain water and some with coffee already brewed. I concluded the bandits had been at their breakfast when they were alarmed by the gunshot down below. I said, "Can I have some of the bacon?" Lucky Ned Pepper said, "Help yourself. Have some coffee." "I do not drink coffee. Where is the bread?" "We lost it. Tell me, what were you doing down there?" I took a piece of bacon, and I chewed on it. "I will be glad to let you know," said I. You will see that I am in the right. Tom Cheney there shot my father to death in Fort Smith and robbed him of 2 gold pieces and stole his mare. Her name was Judy, but I do not see her here. I was informed Rooster Cogburn had grit, and I hired him to find the murderer. A few minutes ago, I came upon Cheney down watering the horses. He would not be taken in charge, and so I shot him. If I had killed him, I would not be in this fix. My revolver misfired twice. "They will do it," said Lucky Ned Pepper. "It will embarrass you every time." Then he laughed. He said, "Most girls like to play pretties, but you like guns, don't you?" "I don't care a thing in the world about guns. If I had, I would have had one that worked." All right, now what we're going to do is talk about the components of a cowboy dinner. Now, generally speaking, you might want to make some pork and beans, and the way you make that is you open the can and you put it in the cauldron, and it goes and it warms up until you're ready to eat it. If you're not certain about how that works, you could just see how they've done it in Blazing Saddles, because that's the way they roll. All right, also then you also probably want to have some meat with this, basically when you're out on the trail, anything that is slower than you is fair game. Okay, however, what we're going to make now are corn dodgers, which are something that Rooster Cogburn keeps in his backpack for their journey. Okay, so we need to add all the ingredients. First, you need 2 cups of yellow cornmeal. Boop. All right. We need to add butter. We have butter. These are 2 tablespoons of butter. Lovely. Okay, and next we need some 2 cups of milk. I will pour that. Yum. Here we go. In it goes. This will serve 6 when we are done. All right, and also the salt and sugar. Now the salt, here we have, and the salt is 1/2 teaspoon. That would be this one. So here we go. Good. All right. The sugar, we need 1 tablespoon, and that is this one here. Here we go. All right, once it's been brought to a boil, and then you turn off your heat and you add your baking soda, one
Powder.
teaspoon, baking powder, 1 teaspoon. Mix that in. And now you are ready to put it on a cookie sheet into little dollops and preheat at 400 and then cook until done. All right, so we've plopped these down on our cookie sheet and we have preheat the oven to 400. In they go for 10 to 15 minutes until they are brown at the edges. More experienced cowhands would have put grease on the pan, which I did not do. But they came out looking nice, and I put a little bit of honey on it. Oh, whoa, good. I cast my eyes about for something suitable. A few sticks lying about were none of them long enough or stout enough for my purpose. If only I could reach that blue shirt, it would just be about the thing for packing. I broke one stick, scratching and pulling at the shirt tail. With the second one, I managed to bring it within reach of my fingertips. Weakened as my hand was, I got purchase of the cloth with thumb and finger and pulled it out of the dark. It was unexpectedly heavy. Something was attached to it. Suddenly, I jerked my hand away from the hot, like from a hot stove. That something was a corpse of a man, or more properly, a skeleton. He was wearing the shirt. I did nothing for a moment. So frightful and astonished was this discovery. I could see a good portion of the remains, the head with patches of bright orange hair showing under a piece of rotted black hat, one shirt-sleeved arm, and that portion of the trunk from about the waist upwards. The shirt was buttoned in 2 or 3 places near the neck. I soon recovered my wits. I am falling. I need that shirt. These thoughts bore upon me with urgency. I had no stomach for the task ahead, but there was nothing else that could be done in my desperate circumstances. My plan was to give a shirt a smart jerk in hopes of tearing it free from the skeleton. I will have that shirt. Thus, I took hold of the garment again and snatched it toward me with as sharp a force as I could muster. My arm seized up with a stab of pain, and I let go. After a little tingling, the pain subsided, and I gave way to a dull and tolerable ache. I examined the result of my effort. The buttons had torn free, and the body was now within reach. The shirt itself remained clothed about the shoulders and the arm bones in the careless fashion. I saw, too, that the maneuver had exposed the poor man's ribcage. One more pull, and I would have the body close enough that I could work the shirt free. As I had already made my job, the eyes were attracted to something, movement, within the cavity formed by the curving gray ribs. I leaned over for a look. Snakes! A ball of snakes! I flung myself back, but of course there was no retreat for me, imprisoned as I was in the mossy trap. The ache in my broken arm grew worse. I felt some more of the blinding moss give away on my right arm, and at the same time I saw that some of the snakes were crawling out through the man's ribs. Lord help me! I set my teeth and took hold of the bony hand that struck forth out of the blue shirt sleeve. I gave it a yank and pulled the man's arm clean away from the shoulder. A terrible thing to do, you say, but you will see that I now had something to work with. I studied the arm. Bits of cartilage held it together at an elbow joint. With some twisting, I managed to separate it at that place. I took a long bone of the upper arm and secured it under my armpit to serve as a cross member. This would keep me from plunging through the hole should I reach that point in my descent. It was quite a long bone, and I hoped a strong one. I was grateful to see the poor man was being tall. What I had now left was the lower part, the 2 bones of the forearm, and the hand and wrist, all of one piece. I grasped it at the elbow and proceeded to use it as a flail to keep the snakes at bay. "Here, get away," I said, slapping at them with a bony hand. "Get back, you!"